Welcome to Voices in My Head on Page and Playback. We are characters living inside the head of South African author, poet, lyricist, and storyteller Manda Menzies. Our stories are told in the Wellspring periodicals, but Manda has many voices in her head and has finally found a way for us to pop out and visit. Today we are exploring the book Ella. And, to be very specific, we are working directly from the source text of Chapter 6.
Right, exactly. Chapter 6 is entirely where our focus is today. We are exploring the entirety of this chapter, following the characters directly from the text and really looking at how their physical environments mirror their internal lives.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever built your life so perfectly, organizing every single daily routine and locking out every potential disruption, only to realize you haven't actually built a sanctuary? You might have just built a highly decorated fortress designed to keep the world away.
Oh, that is such a great way to frame it.
Right. Because today we are exploring this meticulously crafted, completely peaceful life shared by two fiercely independent friends, Rhea and Ella. We get to see the lengths they go to just to maintain their equilibrium.
Yeah.
And, what happens when that balance is challenged by the absolute unpredictability of men?
You really see this immediately in the opening pages. I mean, the physical environment they have created is fundamental to understanding who these women are.
Yeah.
The chapter begins with Rhea arriving back at Ella's house after being out. She parks her car under the carport, brings her things inside, and initiates this routine that is just remarkably rigid.
It really is.
She doesn't just put her bag down. She immediately locks her handbag, her keys, and her purse straight into a safe.
It is a very striking visual.
Yeah.
She literally locks her life away in a steel box before doing anything else.
Exactly. And the routine just continues from there. She heads to her room, checks the mosquito machine to ensure there's enough liquid, switches it on, and then turns on the fan.
Right, and the windows are open for the breeze, but the screens and shutters are firmly secured.
Yes. And after locking down the physical environment, she secures her digital one, too. She boots up the specific laptop she only uses at Ella's house, just to pull down her cloud documents.
It feels a bit like an astronaut double-checking the airlocks before going on a spacewalk. You secure the baseline so your mind can float away safely.
That is a perfect analogy. And the text explains the logic behind this rigidity. Rhea established these habits years ago to protect her creative process, because when she writes, she completely loses touch with reality.
Wow, so it's a protective measure.
Very much so. Hard lessons taught her that before she allows her mind to wander into the worlds of her characters, she has to be certain she knows exactly where her physical tethers are.
But, her need for order extends far beyond just a laptop and a mosquito machine. If you look at the layout of this house, it reflects how completely these two women have optimized their existence.
Oh, absolutely.
They took a third bedroom and converted it entirely into this massive shared dressing room for all their clothing. And because they did that, it frees up the space in their individual bedrooms to function as private, quiet studies.
It is a highly unconventional living arrangement, and the text notes it has raised many eyebrows over the years. Yet, it functions flawlessly for them.
Yeah, it really does.
Their friendship relies on absolute unity in thought and a total acceptance of one another without any judgment. A central pillar of this harmony is that neither of them has men in their lives demanding their time.
Right, they share this overlapping passion for music, art, and empathy. The rest of the world is kept at a very, very comfortable distance.
Exactly.
But, looking at Rhea's highly organized, locked-down routine, I find myself questioning her reality a bit. Put yourself in her shoes for a moment. Is a hyper-organized lifestyle a sign of ultimate freedom because you control every variable? Or is it actually a protective cage designed to keep out anything unexpected?
That is the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like she has turned routine into armor.
And the narrative explores that very tension by expanding our view of the sanctuary. Once Rhea finishes her strict arrival protocol, she moves to the back patio. She pours a glass of wine, turns on some calming music, and just stretches out on a chaise lounge looking out over the mountain and the stream.
And every single element of this house serves a highly specific purpose. When you step outside, you see the outdoor dining area completely shaded by a pergola covered in passion fruit and evergreen vines.
It is beautiful.
It is. But it's not just about aesthetics. It is about creating an environment that responds exactly to their needs.
Right. The environment is almost a character itself. Hidden among the leaves of that pergola are small solar lights that absorb energy all day and switch on automatically at night.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And there's a concealed misting system they can activate during the hottest afternoons to cool the patio with a fine spray of water.
And then stepping inside through the French doors, the organization continues perfectly. The stone floors are insulated against the cold with massive hand-knotted rugs. The lounge seating consists of deep floor cushions, using the softly upholstered walls as backrests. Even the kitchen is engineered for perfect efficiency, the built-in refreshment station and wall-to-wall storage solutions that create an illusion of space.
You are really looking at the physical manifestation of a completely curated life. It is warm, highly organized, and lacking nothing. They have essentially engineered a space where chaos is just not allowed to exist.
They have achieved absolute equilibrium. But equilibrium is always fragile. A pristine canvas is highly vulnerable to disruption. And that brings us to the moment the outside world wanders right past their moats.
Yes, the intrusion. So Rhea is sitting on the patio looking across the river when she spots movement. She watches Ella approaching, but Ella is not alone.
Right.
She's walking alongside a tall, dark man named Gawi and a young boy named Gan, and they are completely engaged in conversation.
And notice how Rhea reacts to this. She stays completely silent at first, just observing the scene from a distance. She sees the joy on Ella's face, the ease of their interaction.
Yeah, she is just taking it all in.
But then Ella calls out an affectionate greeting when she spots Rhea, and the bubble is officially popped.
So Rhea initiates her hospitality routine, which, if you think about it, is another form of control.
Oh, absolutely.
She greets them warmly, directs Ella to make the guests comfortable, and retreats straight into her highly organized kitchen. She measures out the filter coffee precisely, heats and froths the milk, and arranges the tray with sweet-baked biscuits.
Even in this moment, there are these charming little details that threaten to soften Rhea's edges. The young boy, Jan, politely asks for a glass of rain when he wants water.
That is so disarming.
It really is. But when Rhea returns to the patio, she deliberately takes a seat opposite Gawi and Jan. She wants to observe them without being obvious.
And the dynamic she witnesses is genuinely engaging. Jan chatters excitedly to his father about the river stones he collected. When Gawi asks about the rune symbols on those stones, Ella fetches a history book that explains their origins.
And Gawi is genuinely interested, right?
Yeah, very much so. He does not just glance at it to be polite, he pages through it quietly, reading and asking highly insightful questions. If Ella gives an answer that is too vague, he presses for more information. All the while, he is just smiling at Ella with his eyes.
I really want to focus on Rhea here, though. She is sitting there sipping her coffee, answering the occasional question, but she isn't really present in the conversation, is she?
No, not at all.
Watching this easy, comfortable interaction actually starts a massive internal retreat for her.
It initiates a total flood of reflection. Watching them forces Rhea to think about her own reactions to men. The text provides a window into a past relationship that fundamentally altered her.
A very difficult one.
Yes. Years ago, she tried to maintain a normal relationship with a man who was not an artist. Because she was young and her expectations overshadowed reality, the relationship turned into a profoundly negative vortex.
Oh, wow.
They just went in circles over the same issues, grinding each other down with an energy that offered zero peace.
It sounds utterly exhausting. It was a complete clash of realities that drained her entirely.
And it cured her of any longing for romance. While there were brief moments of excitement with others later on, she ended them quickly whenever things threatened to become physical.
Right.
Her precarious self-image, hiding behind past illusions, ensured she never truly allowed her deepest desires any room to breathe. She became heavily armored against the very idea of partnership.
And this internal realization is so heavy that Rhea does not even notice the coffee cups are empty. Ella's voice breaks through her thoughts to announce that Gawi is leaving.
Right, back to reality.
Yeah, he says a polite goodbye, takes his son by the hand, and heads back toward the riverbank to his truck. The two women just stand at the top of the stairs, watching them vanish into the distance.
And the moment they're completely alone, the atmosphere shifts into a debriefing. Rhea immediately offers to boil the kettle again, lightly teasing Ella that she clearly has news to share.
Inside the kitchen, Rhea asks Ella for her tobacco tin. Rhea begins rolling a cigarette for her friend. It is this soothing ritual left over from Rhea's own days as a smoker.
It is very methodical.
Exactly. The act of rolling the tobacco requires focus and precision, giving her a mechanical action to calm the swirl of emotions currently turning inside her.
So they take their drinks back outside, and Ella takes the floor. She recounts her previous encounters with Gary, explaining her comfort with him and his history.
And Rhea is listening very closely, isn't she?
She is. She listens closely to the warmth in Ella's voice. She points out that she has not heard that specific tone from Ella in a very long time, a tone that indicates she is feeling far more than she actually admits.
And when Rhea asks if Ella's ready for this, Ella's response is remarkable for its simplicity. She uses short, confident statements. She thinks so. There is no rush. She feels peaceful. He makes her smile.
It is beautiful.
It is an entirely open, unbothered acceptance of a new connection.
Which makes the contrast to Rhea's own mindset quite jarring. Ella asks why Rhea was so quiet during the visit. And Rhea admits she is vibrating inside, unable to verbalize everything.
Right.
She stands up, fetches the bottle of wine, pours glasses for both of them, and her defensive walls just fully emerge.
She confesses she is struggling to think straight, complaining that her neighbor has completely scrambled her mind and ruined her focus on a difficult writing chapter. And when Ella asks if these are good thoughts or bad thoughts, Rhea dramatically calls them forbidden thoughts.
I love that Ella actually starts laughing at Rhea's expression of pure indignation because this launches Rhea into an incredible frustrated rant.
Oh, the rant is amazing.
She details how this neighbor, who for years lived quietly next door, is suddenly trying to get her attention. He is making demands, and to add insult to injury, he even touched an Italian possession of hers.
And she paints a vivid picture of how strictly she maintained her own isolation, too. She says she never bothered him when he walked around outside looking like a chained rock star, or when he exercised almost naked. She just left him in peace, describing herself as a sensible witch minding her own business.
And Ella, who is still laughing, asks Rhea point blank if she likes him. Rhea's reaction is explosive.
Totally explosive.
She asks how anyone could like snakes, scorpions, or spiders. She says you might look at them through a magnifying glass from a distance, but you do not climb into the cage with venomous things and play with them, not if you have any survival instinct.
Okay, I have to stop you there, because we really need to challenge Rhea's narrative for a second. She claims she is furious that a neighbor crossed a property line and touched an Italian item. But think about her reaction. Is she actually angry about a physical object being touched? Or is she terrified that her impenetrable bubble has been breached?
That is a very fair point.
This intense anger reads like pure fear in disguise.
You are absolutely right to question it. I mean, she starts rolling more cigarettes just to manage her physical agitation, and Ella gently points out that the neighbor is attractive in his own way.
And Rhea hates that.
She completely rejects the word attractive and substitutes the word deadly.
She scoffs at the very idea of taking her clothes off for a man again. She uses the phrase, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It is an absolute refusal to strip away her armor. Her entire focus shifts to regaining control, organizing her thoughts, and firmly putting a stop to his attempts at contact the moment she returns home.
And to burn off this furious energy, Rhea announces they are going to make food. She heads to the kitchen to prepare a highly complex meal, and this is where her need to manage her environment becomes fully physical.
Yeah, instead of just looking at what she cooks, look at how she cooks. It is a flurry of controlled, deliberate action.
She soaks dry blast noodles, chops spring onions, and hydrates dried shiitake mushrooms and wood ear fungus in separate bowls. She heats a wok, fries the fungi in oil, adds garlic, ginger, chilies, and fermented bean paste.
Every single action requires exact timing and temperature. It's like watching a conductor command an orchestra.
Exactly.
She needs to prove to herself that she is still the master of her universe. By perfectly controlling the textures, the spices, and the heat of this meal, she is regulating her own internal chaos.
She divides the perfectly stir-fried noodles into bowls, tops them with blanched pak choi and soft-boiled eggs, and arranges a tray with chopsticks, soy sauce, and chili oils. Then she carries the entire feast outside to the patio.
But consider the paradox here for you as the listener. Rhea's meticulous cooking, where every exotic ingredient is perfectly managed by her hand, is exactly how she approaches her life. It makes you wonder, can you ever truly experience something wonderful and unexpected if you insist on controlling every single variable?
That question really hangs over the rest of the evening. They sit down to eat, appreciating the aromas and textures in this safe space. They discuss their creative work, throwing ideas back and forth about Rhea's difficult chapter and Ella's highly personal new painting.
After the wine and the food, the agitation finally settles down. They cleared the dishes, put on the soothing sounds of Norah Jones, and Ella makes hot chocolate with marshmallows.
Sounds perfect.
The environment is soft, comfortable, and completely insulated from the outside world again.
But it is within this softened environment that Ella delivers a gentle yet very unyielding push. As they sip their warm drinks, Ella asks Rhea directly if she's really going to let this opportunity pass her by.
And Rhea tries to play dumb, right,
Hmm.
pretending not to understand. But
Yeah.
Ella firmly clarifies she is talking about the neighbor and the undeniable energy between them.
Yes, and Rhea's defenses snap right back into place. But this time, she articulates the true, devastating fear behind them.
Yeah.
She asks what happens if she actually starts feeling something for him. She insists her art, her writing, and her friendship with Ella provide all the joy she needs. To her, a relationship is a complication that will inevitably destroy her balance.
She outlines this profound fear of losing her artistic freedom. She firmly believes that any relationship will end with her having to compromise until she no longer recognizes herself. She's convinced a man will eventually want to own and control her.
The fears she lists are highly specific and deeply ingrained. She believes he will get upset if she wants to dance in the moonlight, swim without clothes, or paint entirely through the night.
Right.
She assumes her music will bother his sleep and that he will demand her constant mental availability. Most terrifying of all, she anticipates bags full of criticism, where words are used as weapons to tell her exactly how she falls short.
Her voice grows vehement, echoing the pain of her past, before falling completely silent. She states unequivocally that she never wants to feel that psychological violation again. She refuses to risk everything she has built.
But Ella counters this massive wall of fear with a quiet, striking thought. She asks Rhea to consider an alternative reality. What if he isn't like that? What if this man is that one particular person who fits perfectly, who complements your life instead of destroying it?
Rhea just sighs heavily. She admits that if that is true, she is in serious trouble, because she's been armored for so long she would not even know how to recognize a man like that.
And Ella suggests a radically different approach. Watch him the way he watches you. Listen to your spirit. Engage if you want to, and if you do not, walk away.
That's good advice.
It is. But Ella shares her own intuition that he is something special. She suggests he might be a healing presence sent by the universe to mend all the hurts of the past.
And Rhea holds immense respect for Ella's intuition. So as they say goodnight and head to their respective perfectly quiet rooms, Rhea finally concedes just a fraction of an inch. She agrees to at least think about it. Ella hugs her, assuring her that the universe is with her.
The chapter closes right on the edge of that unresolved tension. You have Ella's calm, peaceful acceptance of the unknown, placed right next to Rhea's terrifying struggle to lower her protective walls.
Leaving you with a final thought to ponder today. When we spend our lives building perfect, impenetrable walls to keep out past pain, do we simultaneously block the very things that might finally help us heal? In the next episode of Voices in My Head, the next chapter of Ella will follow. Please visit, subscribe, like, share, and support the independent creative storyteller, Manda Menzies.